this is Victor. I'm here with a new tutorial, new weekly painting. This time, more than painting, I'm going to explain how to do bases. So I'm going to do a tutorial and to explain how to do this type of rocky desertic bases that can have more or less rocks, like this one. Okay, it can be more like just this type of ground bases, no? With maybe some battle debris that you can add on top. Also here another example. So these are the type of bases I'm using for my Stormcast Eternals. And yeah, first let's make a look what are the materials that I'm going to use for that. So one of the materials that I will use, you can use PVA glue, but I will use this type of material. This is like a plaster. Let me open the pot a moment. You see, it's like a plaster that is used to stick or to glue this type of polystyrene, the foam polystyrene modules that you put on the ceiling. So it's mainly for construction. I see that it's in several languages, so I guess it's in Europe, will be available in several countries. It's called DecoFlare, and yeah, this is the thing. It's like a, you see, and if I take a bit, it's like a plaster, or like how to call this, filler, okay, that we use for the walls. The material I'm going to use is sand beach. If you see, this is with the grain of it's quite thick and it's quite irregular, so I like it. It's not the super thin sand, it's more from a Mediterranean beach where you have a mixture of thin sand and thick, more thicker sand. Sometimes there, from time to time, I find a seashell like this one, but this is the type of sand I'm going to use. And then, following with the materials, I have just small pieces of bark. Okay, you see, this is I don't know if it's between bark and cork. This is from an orchid that we had at home. The plant died. This is used in gardening or in plants. So this is also very nice for small rocks. And here I have pieces of bark. You can take it from several places. Let me share this one. So this is just bark, tree bark. This is mainly used for gardening. Okay. We have seen the material so far, and I'm going to show you bases on different stages, and we are going to explain the next step. So here we have one of the guys that I'm going to prime right now. This is done with bark, you see. And you see that the filler was put at the bottom. I use this filler to cover here some gaps on the miniature to couple and make. When this is painted, all this will be dissimulated. Another part, another type of base. Here I use what is called the very grinded bark to do this type of sand, so to make it more rocky. And I glue the miniature before the filler is completely dry, because in that way I can make him sinking a little bit on the base, what makes him more realistic, especially if it's like sandy or areas. Here we have another example, and this time here I want to show this was part that was dry off of the filler. You see that this also you can paint this as a rocky area. We'll paint this as a rock, and then I have all the rest of the sand. So you can do different things, and then of course you can make some with very little sand or just very small rock. So I try to combine and to avoid to be repetitive as well. And you can put some battle debris if you want on top of that. So, and then this intermediate part, that is a miniature that I'm painting right now. As you can see, what I do is I do the base like this. I will prime. I will paint the base to arrive to this stage. I will paint the miniature, and then the final touches. That is, the final touches are going to be to make this type of that's here, and the plants are going to be put at the final stage. So maybe will take some time. I will use different miniatures. I will use I will explain the different stages. Now we are going to explain the stages on how to prepare the bases with that ones that are from a second unit of judicators that I'm planning to do. So let's start doing that. First step, I will show you how to do 5 different bases. I will do 5 different bases on camera just to show how to prepare them. Are going to be the bases for the judicators, and yeah, and then later on I will use other bases to do the paint job and to avoid to make the tutorial too long, or to wait too long until the miniature is painted. I will use bases from other miniatures to finalize the tutorial. So let's start first preparing the base. I will start with something very basic, the one only with sun. If you only want to put sun, and why I use this instead of PVA is because I find this is much have much texture. So you can see it's like a clay or something like that. Well, clay, what's called this, plaster. You can play with the tool. You can make irregularities. You see, you can smoothen or make it more irregular as you wish. Okay, I like also sometimes that is leaving some spiky parts, so you can do something like that. Okay, this should be okay. Okay, something like that. And then you take the sun. This is the sun, right? I put it upside down and I push on the sun. Remove, and I have, this is the most basic one, just aesthetic, no stones. Okay, I will do one basic just to show on camera. It's good to have from time to time one basic one. Then you want to know that it's fresh. I press down, you make the steps, and I will put a little bit of super glue. So I will put super glue. This is gel, is super glue gel, so it's a different one. So I will put it here, and you wait until this dries, and this looks that is sinking on the sun. So this will be a good one for just a standard decorative base. Later on we can put plants here, or we can put some other elements. So I like to combine some with a lot of rocks with some that are less rocky. Let's do the next one. I take again the plaster. Okay, this one I will do something different. There is parts of the plaster that dry from time to time of this plaster. You see, this is really like a dry piece. So you can put this in one side, okay, and then you can add fresh on top. You can see when it dries, so you can add. This will give texture on this part. We can paint this rocky later on. I recommend you put some fresh on the bottom to ensure that this is gluing. So take this out first. Put the fresh one all over the place, as I did before. Okay, you see, you can make it smoother or less, so it depends, because then the sun, then I take these things that are dry because some parts dry on the pot. You can do something like that. You can take, sometimes they have interesting shapes, so you have, and they can be painted as rocks later on, so you can do something like that. I do the same. I sink it on the sun. Okay, it's going to do it on camera. You will see that it's mainly gluing while it's fresh. It's not gluing on top of that. Okay, you can, if you don't want too much on the top, you can take it off. I go with the next one. I position it. You can position, for example, like that, if it's using this as a protection, for example. small protection. Okay, I can take the super glue again. Put gel glue on the legs and I fix it on the here. Okay, another one done. Let's do another different case. So again, we start applying this type of plaster on the base. Again, as I said before, I like this more than the PVA because it gives some additional texture that I think it's working very well. Okay. I'll do something like that. And now in that case, I will take some pieces of bark. We can take this one, for example, here. We can put this piece of bark in that place. We can take smaller pieces just to complement it. We should take now smaller parts. I prefer also bark over natural or actual stones or rocks because they are much lighter and it makes much easier everything. Moving the miniature thing it's working better. I like more having the lighter miniature, so we can add another piece of bark here. This is why I like when the parts are grinded. You can take some of the grinded, for example, and put it here. Okay, then you will need to press it to be sure that it's attached. Okay, we'll take all this hair that just fall. Like that. And now I will press against the sand as I did before. So I do it off camera, but you see, well, I can do it here on camera as well. So I put it down and I press it on the sand. So, and you see how it's looking like. Okay, once this is done, the same step as before, we can put this guy. I will put it now like that, for example. Okay, we can do something like that. And I will put glue on the foot. Okay, and glue this guy on the base. And we have another guy completed. We have to wait until this dries, of course, and try to manipulate in the next couple of hours to be sure that this is completely dry. Okay, let's do another one. So we go for 3 bases. I will show you later on all the bases together when this is dry. This one I will take. Okay, this is quite dry, but will work anyway. So this is a mixture. It was drying up. The only point I see on this with that material is that sometimes it's drying a little bit on the pot. But yeah, I use it for a lot. I use it also to do all my display tables. So and I think this pot that I'm using here cost me €3, something like that. So it's pretty cheap material, and it works. I like how it works. That one, for example, we can put some stones as well. You can use, for example, what I like is for this. You see this one is concave at the bottom. Okay, so thanks that this material is thick, you can place it anyway and will fill the gap, so you have a good join, a good union with the base. You can put something like that, for example, and yeah, you can put another rock, or you can put, for example, this one that have rocks in both sides. This was too dry, but here you can use it. Okay, then let's put it on the sun again. I will do it off camera this time. You see, it's done. And now the miniature can be glued as you want. We can put it like that. Okay, I be sure that it's well. So, and I'm using gel super glue, the gel one, because I think it's when you work with textures, it's working better. So yeah, and this is the way I'm going to do now one with a big rock. So to do one with a big rock, I need, of course, a bigger piece of. So like this one. This is not. I don't like it too much. Let me see if I have another one. So you have also this type of piece of bark. This is quite big one. You can use this to represent that this guy is standing on top of the rock. We can use this, for example, for the prime of the unit. So let's put this guy on top of this rock, and then you have to choose. You can make it like break it, for example, like that, if you want it, and then looks more interesting sometimes. So I will do something like that. I will break a little bit more. You see, this is what I like it. It's very easy to break and to manipulate. We can take a little bit from here, and we can do something like that. Okay, and then the parts that are broke, you can keep it for another work. So I do something like that. Okay, you see, now you have to planify how you are going to put the miniature here. So I will try to do something like that. So let's put the plaster again. Okay, we put this thing, this stuff. Okay, we put one rock here. The other rock we can put it like that. We can put the archer something like that. Okay, we are going to put some, we can put some sand, or we can put more smaller rocks in the middle to make it completely rocky, for example. We can put a rock like that, small rock here. This is too big. We can take from the very small rocks. So this will look really a rocky part. So not all the terrain on the battlefield should be uniform. So I guess some parts are going to be more rocky than others. Okay, this can make an interesting rocky base. Right? Now we can glue this guy on the top. Like that, or we can put it, I think the best is to put it something like that. Right? So we take super glue. In that case, it's much better gel super glue, because you want to avoid that it's absorbed by the bark, and when it's gel, you need it's not absorbed that easily by the porosity of the bark. So yeah, you leave it, and the miniature is glued on top. So yeah, we have to wait as well. So I'm finalizing here this part. I will be back once I'm going to prime now these bases. I will make a close-up to show you how it's looking like, and then I will prime them and you can see how the next steps later on. So I just moved the camera down to show you how the bases look like. This was the first we did. This is the, let me show, this is another one, the other one we did with the white part of the plaster. Another base. This one I'm realizing now this is going to make some difficulties to paint, so we have to be careful. This is the one that we put the guy in the middle between the rocks, and this is the last one we did. So you see here some rocky bases. Now I'm going to prime them and I will be back once they are primed. So this is how it looks like after doing the priming white. You see that you cannot cover completely the color of the objects, but this is some examples of how the base will look like once it's primed. So once we are on that stage, the next step is to I paint first the base before doing the miniature, and I will apply a base of Reynolds height on the parts that we have the sun or the ground. So to play that is an area that is very have a lot of texture. I will really apply the paint very watered down, and we can use any type of brush. There are some stones that may fall down when you're doing that, so yeah, this is quite normal. Try not that they don't, that you can use a palette to avoid that they fall into the pot. So I will go like that. Yeah, if you dirten a little bit the rock, it's not a problem, but in principle I will not use this color for the rock, so just the case is all around, and I will also do this part that are here. Okay, something like that. So not much to say, so it's just that, yeah, I water a lot the paint, very thin it, because it helps to have a, yeah, to paint. It's more, it helps to run the paint on the base. In that case, for example, I will also apply the same, just around. Okay, so I will do this and I will show you the different bases after applying this layer. So now it's called the Reynolds height is dry. So the next step that we are going to do is we're going to apply stone vermin fur on the rock, on the parts that we want to make rocks. So we are going to, again, we don't need a highly precision brush, quite watered down, and we are going to apply this. It's quite a porous material, so try to thin quite well the paint, and we're going to apply this all over the place. If you go a little bit on the brown, it's not an issue, so you just want to apply this to ensure that all the rock is painted, and you want to avoid that any white is remaining, so you want to cover really well this part. So yeah, here there is not much mystery, it's just applying the layer of stone vermin fur. Okay, so I will do this on the rocks, and I will show you back how they look like after this step. So this is how the bases look like after applying the gray. So you see here one example, another example. Okay, with smaller rocks. There you see the gray. So it's this one only have very small one, This guy is standing on top of some rocks. Okay, we have different examples, and I even did some bases without any type of gray, so only brown, and this one also with some rocks. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to do dry brush on the rocks first. I will do first the rocks and then I will do the brown parts. What is the reason I do it that way is that I consider that the sand, the little sand can add some dirtiness on the rocks, but I don't think will happen the other way around, that the gray goes onto the brown parts. So let's start. I will use now downstone gray. We are going to do dry brush on top of the gray, and this first can be quite heavy because the downstone gray is going to be very similar to the vermin fur and will give very little. We'll do very little on the rocks. You can see I'm doing right now here, and yeah, we'll start popping out a little bit some of the texture on the rocks, but will not do much more than that. Okay, so I will start doing that. I will do first downstone to all the rocks, and the next step we are going to change it to the lighter color. So this is what I will do. Okay, and now I will put fast camera. Next, we are going to do a second dry brush with administrator gray. As you can see, this is much more visible. I don't apply too much pressure on the brush, I just let the brush go over the base, and it's popping up all the texture. Okay. Sorry that I'm moving a little bit out of the camera, we'll change a little bit. Okay, I will do another one. Here it's maybe too much, but it's a rock, so you can be quite rough, you can be quite chalky, and I like to have some areas of the rock much clearer than others and keep other parts darker. Okay, I will do the same on the other rocks in fast cam. So next step, I'm going to use Longbeard Grey. This is a dry paint, and I basically use them for rocks. So this is quite chalky paint, and I will just use it in some areas in the rocks. Not on all of them. I will do some touches. You see this with a very clear. It's contrasting a lot. We'll, for example, add a little bit more here. And here, that's all. That one. We choose the area that we want to make it more visible. Can be this one. With something like that. You don't need to be uniform at all. Here I see that these rocks have not been highlighted before very well. I took this color. Then here we can do, for example, this. Rocks can have some white, so it's not a problem if it's sometimes too visible. Okay. And I will leave this a lot darker. So just some of them. You don't need to do all of them, all the rocks. Just this I wanted to do the top much clearer. Something like that. You see it's rough paint. So just putting more color in one part than others. Here, for example, you can add a lot on that. And then this one needs a little bit. Okay, this is done. We go to the next. This is a warmer color. It's called Terminatus Stone. Oh, you don't need to shake these ones clean. This will give a more creamy color. Let me put something to hold this in position. And we are going to apply also this in other parts of the stone. It's a little bit too dry in mine, but it's okay. It's a dry paint, so. See, this can be too much, but it's okay. You want to give. You want to paint in other bars, leave other dark. You want to break now the uniformity of the rock. So you don't want the rock to look the same from all the sides. You want some parts to be more clear than others. For example, like that, and like here. I can add some, and on the rock. So you see the objective is just to make the rock less uniform. Here. This one I will not put. I will not use any green in that case, because I'm doing more like a desert type of rocky area, and I can see that there is not moss growing on that rocks, so or lichens, because it's too dry. So this is why I will keep earthy colors, and mainly I'm doing greys and ochres. Last color I will use is elderflesh, also from the dry paints from the workshop. Okay, take some. This is quite ochre, you have to be careful. So we are going to apply another pass. This will change a little bit the tonality in that purse. Okay. You don't want to put too much, I will not touch this one. Okay. You want to break the uniformity, this is what you want to do. Okay, so on the rocks we are done. Now what we are going to work is on the brown parts. For the brown parts I will start applying scarf brown as a first highlight. We can use any type of middle brown for that. Okay. We'll do one of the big ones, and you can imagine the others are going to be on the same. So you just go with the brush, and you do a brush on top of this. And to do that, I take the paint that is more thick, the one that is less thin down. You can see, and as well you can create areas that are more brown than others. Leave the whole wood. So you can play on how much indent you want each part to be. So all these bases, one of the tricks to make them to grow nice is to break uniformity. Normally the sun will not have exactly the same color in all the spots. You will have, as in the miniature shades, we have areas where for any reason it's darker, unless you're working on the beach. Okay, so I'll do this one, and I will do the same on the other bases. So let's put fast mode. step I will use tau light ochre. Again, I will do this base in normal speed, and then the rest. Okay. You can see this is really popping up all the texture. And you don't need to play it in all the spots, as we did on the rocks. Try to break a little bit the uniformity. Okay. This is one example. And then, yeah, let's do the others. Here, for example, I will not mind to dirt a little bit the rocks. Okay, you see, this is much faster than the previous layer because you don't need full coverage of the base. And these ones that have very little brown, just small. Okay, this is enough. This one have a little bit more. Okay, let's do this one that is very peculiar. So here I wanted to do more brown rock. This is too much. I want to go very heavy on this rock, so this is why I went so heavy. So, and this is again too much here. If this happened here, we will need to do corrections later on. This is a mistake, but we can put there a bush, or we can apply a little bit of wash air sheet, and you can correct this very easily. We'll show you. So we have to wait until this dries, and I will show you how. I'm doing quite thick, let's say, dry brush. I'm not drying really the brush too much. Okay, like that. This is enough. This will finalize this part on dry brush. I will show you what to do if that happens, that you see that is too much here. You see it's accumulated too much and you don't like it. Take a little bit of Agvax air shade. And this is done. You reduce a little bit the accumulation of ochre there. Okay? Then I'm going to explain now the last step, but it's not going to be in that basis. It's going to be in that base that I just finalized here. This meter is done, is ready, and I'm going to explain here how to do some dust on top of the rock. So to do that, I will use H rust from the powders of Forgeable. You can use any powder that have similar coloration. Of course, you don't need to mix this one. Take a little bit, okay, and I will, for example, put like here. this brush was a little bit wet. It's better to use, this was a small mistake I didn't know, but it's better to use completely dry brush. Brush that is, so for example here you put it, you see, and then you have to be careful not to dirty the miniature, so you can put a little bit here and you can go a little bit on the ground. This will simulate that the rock is a little bit, you see the difference between when it's applied completely dry and when it's a little bit wet. So to solve this here, I will put some more dry. Okay. If you think that is too much, so we can put no. And this will completely break the uniformity of the rock. And I think here you can do, that's all. I think I will not do more. I to keep this rock as it is. So if it's too much in one point and you want to take out, you can use these things that are used for makeup and you can rub off a little bit. Okay, you see? I'm taking out. This will take the most superficial one, and also here you can do the same. Okay, you see? And now it's less. So this is what I will do, but I think at that moment it's finalized. If the other way to take out, if it's too much, I take water, clean water, and you always water. The powders, if you don't fix it, they can be diluted anytime that you want. And I will leave it like that at this moment. I think it's good enough. Okay? Be careful with the powders because they can contaminate or dirty your miniatures or contaminate your paints very easily. So I throw away the I was using. And now just the final touch. And this is going to be one basis example. Because for the other ones I need to paint the miniatures. It will take much longer. No. I use this from Army Painter. So it's from Army Painter, these things. It's bushes. Or it's turf. And then I will take a couple of them. Okay, something like that. They have auto adhesive, but to be fair, I think I prefer to put some PVA glue. So I will put, for example, a plant here. They will simulate dry bushes or something like that. Put the bush on top. We'll use tool to help me to position the bush in the right position. Okay, example this one. Or I will turn it to put this thing inside of the base. Let's turn it around with the hand. Okay. I always do this as the last step because it's much easier to do it. Then I will put another one here on the front. If you have made a mistake or something that you want to hide, this is the moment to hide the mistake. So here we have one that is double. Okay, and these are the steps to do these bases. So, sorry if I went off the camera. So just put now some bushes, and once this is dry, it's not going to be visible. The PVA is going to be completely transparent and it's not going to be visible anymore. If you see all the white, don't worry. This will disappear. And always, the last thing that you have always to do when you do these bases is paint the rim. In that case, I will use dark brown. Okay. And this is the when I say this base is finished. Okay, you clean up all the work all the dirtiness that you have by painting on top with a dark color that will. One thing I do if, and this is just taste of everybody, when I have this that is falling down, I just leave it like that. And this is the point. So the base is done and the miniature is ready. So that's all for this tutorial. I hope you like how to do rocky bases. And yeah, and this is all for now. And yeah, let me know what do you think. Please comment, like if you like it. And yeah, as usual, as always, thanks a lot for watching and see you again later. Bye.